Hi guys, and I'm Retro Critic here. And today I'm going to review and talk about Joker. Now, I always loved Joker from 2019. So Joker was a movie that was released in 2019, and it was an instant hit. Okay, a lot of DC fans loved it. I love Joker. I love Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. And basically, it's a movie just about, like, the origin of the Joker, or this director's take of the Joker. The film was written and directed by Todd Phillips, and this movie is basically Todd Phillips' interpretation of Joker's origin story. It's basically just his vision of, like, Joker's origin story. It's a movie about the rise of the Joker, but it's really a movie. It's really a movie that's about a character study of the Joker. That's what it really is, really. And I love it for that. And Joaquin Phoenix plays the Joker. Robert De Niro plays his newscast. And Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, he's mentally ill, he's miserable, he's lonely, he lives in an apartment, he has a shitty job, and he wants to have fame and recognition, and he wants to get on, like, Robert De Niro's comedy show, which Robert De Niro plays, like this comedian host, and he wants to get in this interview. He gets fired because he dropped a gun in front of kids. Well, by the way, he plays a clown, so his job is playing a clown, and he owns a gun, and he happens to accidentally drop his gun in front of kids that he's performing in front of, and his boss fires him over that. Because, yeah, who would actually, because it's dangerous to even just have a gun in front of kids, or actually drop a gun in front of kids anyways, but still. So he gets fired for that. Later kind of blames his employee friends for that, or something. I think he buys a gun for self-defense, or either he finds a gun, I can't remember, or he, like, buys a gun or something. He kind of gets it from somebody, he blames, he says he gets it from somebody, but no, he really just blames one of his employee friends. He actually later kills one of his employee friends, but he slowly becomes a clown, an evil clown, a twisted evil clown, and it's a psychological depiction of the character, you can say. He kills one of his employee friends, he slowly gets mad, the cops is going after him, and it's really because he kills these 3 Wall Street executives. And in the movie, he kills, like, these 3 Wall Street executives that are kind of like being jerks to him or being douchey with him, but being bullies and picking on him. And he, in self-defense, he uses his gun and he shoots and kills these 3 Wall Street executive guys. The cops are after him. These detectives are suspicious and after him. And the Joker has, like, this following. And society looks down at the poor. And I forgot to mention, he's a comedian, and he gets on the comedy show with Robert De Niro. He manages to get on Robert De Niro's comedy interview show. And he gets on that show, and it's my favorite scene in the whole movie, where the Joker confesses that he kills 3 Wall Street executives. Fun me and it's awesome. And on television, he confesses that he kills 3 Wall Street executives. And the scene of just great, stuff. But people aren't getting his humor. People are making fun of him. He has politically incorrect humor, or his humor is just too creepy for some people. And later, there's a great scene where, like, Robert De Niro interrogates, like, Joaquin Phoenix, his Joker, and he interrogates him because he confesses that he kills 3 Wall Street executives casually, and then later, I just like how he just, like, gets pissed off with Robert De Niro and he shoots Robert De Niro. He gets really pissed off Robert De Niro and he shoots Robert De Niro, and I'm sorry, but I just find it so funny and just awesome that he even shoots Robert De Niro in the first place. Okay, but that aside, either way, later has this following, and there's, like, an uprising of anarchy. Then later on, the 2 detectives that was chasing Joker gets their comeuppance. And then there's, like, and after he shoots De Niro, then there's a whole riot going on of, like, Joker's sympathizers and people who want to take down the system. And then later, the 2 detectives that was going after the Joker, that was going after the Joker, they get their comeuppance where, like, where he tells the supporters, tells the rioters to, like, beat up the 2 detectives that's after the Joker. and the rioters beat them up. And after he shoots De Niro, there's like complete anarchy. And then Thomas Wayne gets shot. I forgot to mention that like the Joker thinks that Thomas Wayne is like his real dad. Well, his mom says that his dad might have been like his real father. We don't really know. It kind of says that, but we don't really know for sure. Sure, his mom says that his Thomas Wayne might be his real father, but we don't really know if Thomas Wayne is his real father. I mean, who knows if she's crazy or not. Well, later he kills his mom. It's funny how he later like chokes and kills his mom. But later on, we see like this protester that shoots Thomas Wayne, this rider. We see like anarchy everywhere. We see these Joker supporters. We see all these like protesters. And then one of the protesters shoots Thomas Wayne and his wife, and kind of scarring Bruce Wayne forever. Then later, there was like complete anarchy. Then the Joker is like awarded as a hero because he stand up to and shot De Niro on live television. He's awarded as a hero to these protesters, and then all these anarchist protesters hailed the Joker as like a hero or something. And then later the movie ends where he's like institutionalized, where the Joker's institutionalized. Later on in the ending of the movie, he's like thrown in a insane asylum. And the movie ends where he escapes from the insane asylum, and that's it. And that's the movie. And I just love this movie. I love this movie, The Joker. It's awesome. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the positive. Okay, first of all, let me say this first. I like how the Joker is like portrayed as a loner here, and he lives alone in an apartment, and he's depressed, and he has mental illness, and it's like a psychological study of the Joker. It's an interesting character study of the Joker. You feel it's a sympathetic view of the Joker, and you feel bad for the Joker or something like that. And I like how, he's trying to take care of his ill mom, but then as the movie progresses, he slowly turns crazy. And then I like how he chokes, and then I like how he later kills his mom in the hospital. But still, and again, we don't know if Thomas Wayne's his real dad. His mom says as Thomas Wayne's his real father. We don't know if his mom's crazy or not. But in the movie, wants you to debate whether Thomas Wayne is like his real father or not. And I like how he confronts Thomas Wayne. He's portrayed as like this smug prick, billionaire asshole. Even though he's protecting his family, he's like. What's crazy is now there's a scene where there's a scene later in the movie where the Joker confronts Thomas Wayne. He's portrayed as this like smug prick billionaire, or more like this arrogant billionaire, arrogant guy. But he's really protecting his family. He denies the Joker's allegations. He says. And the stuff that the Joker is saying to him is not true. He says, slaps the Joker, kind of punches Joker in the face. He later, and that's why he punches the Joker, and that's why he punches the Joker in the face. And that's just because earlier he kind of harassed Bruce Wayne or Alfred, and he interacts with a young Bruce Wayne, and we see like Alfred shooting him away. But later on, that's kind of why Thomas Wayne like punches the Joker in the face. He also must have done that because this is like harassment to him, and he just wants him to leave him alone, lunatic. I don't blame him for that, but still. Later on, and I just like it how we're basically rooting for the death of Thomas Wayne, believe it or not. It's crazy to say that, but it's true. We later do see like Thomas Wayne and his wife get shot and killed by not the Joker, but one of his supporters, and scarring Bruce Wayne forever, where we kind of like see a different like take or different like spin on like Bruce Wayne's origin story, but still. And it's just crazy because you're rooting for Thomas Wayne's death. He's like the mayor. He's like this rich billionaire. He's like the mayor or wants to be the mayor. You root for the death of these Wall Street executives. You root for Robert De Niro getting shot. Well, that scene is awesome when he shoots Robert De Niro. But it's just crazy because you're like, you're rooting for the death of these Wall Street executives. You're like rooting for the death of Thomas Wayne. You're like wanting him to be killed. He's a billionaire that looks down at the middle class. Thomas Wayne is like this billionaire that looks down at the poor, and we're like rooting for the death of Thomas Wayne, and we're like wanting for Thomas Wayne to be killed. That's just amazing. That's an amazing perspective right there. That's just an amazing take right there. But still, it's interesting how this movie does that, and we're like rooting for the death of these like asshole Wall Street executives, and we're like, these Wall Street executives are like portrayed as like these like smug assholes that you just want to get killed. You just want them to be killed in the movie. And this movie has like this overarching political message where it's about mental illness and all that stuff. And I like how you're like wanting Robert De Niro to get shot. And I just like how just Robert De Niro gets shot anyways in the movie. That's just awesome, man. That's just funny to me. Okay, but still. And And there's a scene where like the Joker cannot stop laughing sometimes, and he keeps laughing, and he has a card explaining that his laughing is mental illness. Like, he can't stop laughing because it's mental illness. And he has to give somebody a card to explain that it's a mental disorder he has. And that's just brilliant to me. Like, he gives somebody a card, explain that to somebody, and that's why he cannot stop laughing. And I just think that's brilliant right there, and it's just so hilarious. And when he like starts to laugh more, he slowly becomes more evil over time. Also, and he's a comedian, and he's a failed comedian, and you feel bad for him, and you like feel bad for him that he's like a failed comedian. And I just think this movie's like Taxi Driver, and I think it takes inspiration from that, and that's what makes it cool. And now this movie, people say this movie's like Taxi Driver, or this movie ripped off Taxi Driver. Well, I don't agree with ripped off Taxi Driver. Now, people say it's like a Taxi Driver knockoff, and I don't agree that that's a Taxi Driver knockoff. I just think it's taking inspiration from Taxi Driver, because this movie's clearly like taking like, you know, some inspiration from Taxi Driver, and this movie clearly shows that. So this movie's just like Taxi Driver, and this movie like has some inspiration from Taxi Driver. The story's similar like that to Taxi Driver, and it's just like Taxi Driver. And this movie's just like Taxi Driver, but with the Joker, basically. And this movie's about the power of kindness and love, and that a lot of people miss it. And it's and basically the message of the movie is that like it's about kindness, and that a lot of people miss it. Like, and it's like society, people look down at that, and the message of the movie is basically about like, you know, the struggles of mental illness population, and how people look down at mental illness. And it's about how like society looks down at mental illness people, or people with mental illness. And this movie's brilliant because it's basically about like how society looks down at the poor and middle class. And it's about like rich versus poor, and it's just brilliant that way. And this movie's awesome that way. And it's just amazing. And I get this like anarchy vibe from this movie. I really do. I get a lot of anarchy from this movie. And like this is the most political superhero movies I've ever seen in my life. Like Wall Street and mental illness. I mean, this movie's amazing. I mean, this movie's brilliant. Like, I'm sorry. And this movie has a message of like Wall Street bailouts and the mental illness struggles. And that's just amazing to me. This movie's so political. It talks about like why Wall Street's evil, and like how like, you know, the upper class like looks down at mental illness people. I mean, that's just genius right there. That's amazing to me. Like how the upper class rich and the rich and powerful like looks down at mental illness people, looks down at people, and like doesn't support mental illness, and how like they don't like care about the mental illness people. And that's just fascinating to me. That's just genius right there. And I like how this movie basically criticizes Wall Street. I mean, basically, it just kind of says Wall Street's evil. And this movie's amazing on like how it criticizes Wall Street. But I'll go on and on. And this is like one of the most political superhero movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's so political. I get this like anarchy vibe from this movie. I get this like, this movie's very anarchy to me. This is like the most political movie I've ever seen in my life. And this movie feels very anarchy to me, and this is like the most political movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm serious. This is the most political superhero movie I've ever seen in my life. As far as political as superhero movies can go. Like it has like this anarchist message, I love it. And this movie has like a very anarchist message, and I love it. This is just an awesome movie. Joaquin Phoenix is amazing as Joker. I love this movie. The Joker. Todd Phillips is an amazing director. It's interesting to see his vision come fold. Like I said, I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is amazing at Joker. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is just amazing at Joker. I love Joaquin Phoenix. I love him as an actor, but he's really amazing here as the Joker. Todd Phillips did a great job here directing-wise. Writing directing-wise, I think this movie is brilliant. This movie is very quotable here. This movie is very watchable here. This movie is very rewatchable. And thanks to Todd Vision's interpretation, and thanks to all of Todd Phillips' vision of the Joker. I really love that here. And this movie's awesome. And you know, and I just think, and I don't think you need a Joker sequel. I'm perfectly fine with just the first one. You don't need a sequel, but I'm open to the sequel, so that's fine. Now, here they're going to make a sequel, and honestly, I feel you don't really need a sequel to the Joker. I think it's unnecessary to have a sequel to the Joker. I'm just fine with the first Joker. I just think you just need one movie, and that's it with the Joker. But I'm open to a sequel. See, I don't think the sequel's that bad from what I'm hearing. I mean, it's just one story, and I'm just fine with the first one. It's just, I'm open to a sequel because, like, the sequel sounds interesting to me, so we'll see about that. It might be good. I hear it's good, so we'll see about that. But here's the thing. So, guys, I give Joker an 8 out of 10. And I think Joker definitely does deserve an 8 out of 10. And I love this movie, The Joker. The Joker's brilliant. I think it's amazing. I love it. I love this movie. It's fantastic. The Joker is one of my favorite superhero movies now. I love this movie. The Joker right now has to be one of my favorite like DC superhero movies now. And the Joker is just an amazing movie. And the Joker is just an amazing DC movie. I love the Joker and all that stuff, so highly recommend. So guys, I'm Retro Critic, and I'm out. And I'll see you guys later, and I'll see you guys next time. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side, and I'll see you guys around. And peace out, and bye.